Okay, so I pray that this message reaches who it's for. This message is um urgent for who it's for. It's also specific, but I believe that the Lord gave me the go ahead to record this word today. So basically, how this came about was the Lord showed me two movies, and the Lord also showed me some prophetic numbers as well. Um, and there's also a song that I want to share as well. So basically, this is a situation where, like, you know who your spouse is. You've been believing for reconciliation with them. Maybe you had some level of communication at some point, but you haven't had like the final or like the major reconciliation, like, you know, you both coming into agreement and stepping forward together. Um, but the Lord wants you to be encouraged because that time is quickly approaching. So do remain in expectation, but there has been a little hiccup in the road, and you might have been sensing that something's been off. And the Lord was showing me the movie called Clouds, and basically in that movie, it was a situation where um, the main character is the man, or he's like a high schooler. He has a best friend that he's known for most of his life because they grew up together. They're best friends and they're very close, and the girl is very supportive of him. Um, and he has a crush on another girl named Amy, and you know, she's like she's supportive of him, but like the best friend like truly knows him, truly loves him, and they do music together. Um, the best friend is just like the real one, you know. But there's a point where him and the best friend are together, and he finds her journal where she's talking about having a crush on someone, and he's like, "Oh, spill it." And he doesn't realize that everything she's saying about who she has a crush on is actually involving him. So I think she had said something about like, "I just want to hold him," and stuff like that. And you know, she kind of started crying because she was just like upset because they just basically he was kind of just like, you know, she was kind of hoping that, you know, they would, you know, maybe have other relationships and realize that it was always meant to be the two of them. And he was kind of just saying like, you know, that could be like the normal situation, but we're not normal. And so she kind of just had to just be okay with being the best friend. And he ended up being in a relationship with Amy, the girlfriend. Um, and throughout the movie, like it kind of stayed in that dynamic. There was one point where he broke up with the girlfriend, but they got back together towards the end of the movie, and the best friend was still there for him and everything like that. But it kind of like there was a it was kind of a sad movie in a way because the main character, he had cancer, so at the end of the movie he died. Um, and so after his death, you know, the best friend and the girlfriend are, you know, like friends, but it kind of just stays that way. What's happening is that since it ended with like the high schooler boy dying, that's kind of like what's kind of the case if like things just stay in that direction. Because I remember like as I was like seeing it, I was feeling like a little bit like off. Not off, but like I didn't really like the dynamic that I was seeing, and I was like, why? Because I knew that like I felt led to watch, and I was just like, why are you showing me this? And it could be like um a situation where like they want to keep you at arm's length in a way, like they don't want to, they still want you around, and they still want to like have like the privileges of your love and support, but they don't actually want to commit to you. And and God just doesn't want you to settle for that. Um and basically, you know, like with him dying at the end of the movie, it's like it's gonna be like death for him if he like doesn't, you know, go in the direction that God wants him to. So basically there's just been this sense of pride, and there's been like rebellion going on. And and the other movie that I was led to watch was called I actually don't remember the name of it, but basically um it was a situation where, oh, I remember now. It was called Promised. So basically it was an arranged marriage, and the parents arranged it. Um but the daughter, she, the girl from like out of their parents, she was not really wanting it. She didn't understand why it was happening. So in this case, she was kind of like the prodigal in a way. She ended up having a boyfriend, even though they had already established that she was supposed to marry this other specific guy. So the other specific guy, like he always like he never felt like anything wrong with the arrangement because he actually loved her, and he was willing to, you know, marry her and things like that. Um, but she just didn't see it that way, and she didn't want to be in it. But basically, things were arranged to where they were trying to, basically, the family was trying to force the girl's boyfriend out and really like accelerate and speed up this wedding happening so that they can be together. And she was really upset about that, but she eventually like the wedding happened and they got married. um but they weren't, when they like after the wedding, like she didn't she was just like, it's on paper. So they slept in separate rooms, and they were just not, they didn't physically connect with each other. So the marriage technically wasn't even fully legitimate because they didn't, you know, make it, you know, established in the physical, because she just refused to. But he's still there. He's still like, he was like, I'm not gonna force you to do anything. You know, he's able to acquire his family's business, so he's working for the family business. And even though they're married and they're still kind of trying to figure things out, like she still longs for the the boyfriend that she had. Like he basically, the family kind of like paid for him to leave her alone for a few months because he actually had debt that he owed. So the family paid the debt that he owed, and they were like, you can just, you know, keep your distance and stay away. And so basically the family of the boyfriend comes to the lawyer, and they're like, we want to help pay for some of the debt that our nephew has. So they're trying to deal with like the boyfriend's debt. The girl, the girl that married the guy, she doesn't know about this boyfriend, like her ex, I guess you could say ex-boyfriend. She doesn't know about his past. She doesn't know that the business he had was actually like shady and not legitimate. Like there were things underlying that she didn't know until like towards the very end of the movie. And so she's thinking that like the parents were just like forcing it, and she said it should be from a place of love. But she never, like, she didn't feel that towards the guy she was married to. And the guy never told her, you know, how he truly felt about her, you know, that he truly loved her. So it was just like, there was just no like true, they didn't come to an understanding. So it was kind of just documenting their struggles. And so at one point, um, the the girl walks into the husband's office where he works, and it's it's painted as it's like so basically the lawyer has a secretary, and the secretary, um she just kind of causes trouble. And so basically she's in there, kid like making out with, um it so basically the way that the girl walks in, it looks like the secretary is making out with her husband. So she flips out and she's upset and everything. But eventually she realizes that no, it's actually the husband's friend that she's making out with. And so the secretary went into his office doing that, being inappropriate without his knowledge. And so the husband realizes, like, oh, this is what she saw, and she wanted to, basically there was an annulment form, and they were just like, if you want to sign it, it's fine. If you don't, then we can try to work things out. So after she sees that situation, she signs it, and he's just really like heartbroken and upset, and he tries to go find her because she packed her things, and it seemed like she was like trying to completely leave. And he also realized, like, the boyfriend came back and came into their house, and he wasn't there, and they were talking because he smoked a cigarette, and he left the cigarette there. So basically, um he goes to find the ex-boyfriend, and he was like, it's over. So basically, the wife finds out the truth about him and everything, and that the husband wasn't cheating on her. And she comes back home, and she, like, you know, kind of recommits to him, and she says, it's always been you. And he commits to her, and he's like, I still love you. I want you. I still want you, and I love you. And so they kind of just join, and basically they kind of start going on dates, because the way that this happened, it was like they really didn't know each other very well before they got married. And so this is even like what God is doing as well. Like, God is making these marriages happen quickly, and you may not even have had the chance to really have like an extended period of getting to know each other, but that's going to happen in the marriage. God is the one that has ordained and orchestrated this union. Um, and there was a quote at the end of the movie, and I want to read it. It says, you can rebel against your parents and you can rebel against the world, but in the end, you can't fight destiny and you can't change fate. So, God's perfect will is for you to be joined with your spouse that He's chosen for you. And this is technically an arranged marriage, and it's up to you if you want to come into agreement with what God wants or not. But, in this movie, it was the case where, the wife was rebelling, and the wife was trying to go after someone that wasn't the best for her. Like, her husband was the best choice for her because he actually loved her, and he provided for her too, with his job, and they were able to inherit a house together. That was really nice from his grandmother. So it was like she had, like, along with the husband, she had the provision, the wealth. She was able to go to school while he was working, and, they had the house together. And so just know that, like, God choosing this person for you, God choosing you for this person is God's best for the both of you. And, you know, going against what God wants, or looking for other people, or looking at other people, or trying to go after other people, it's not going to lead to God's best for you.